Yeah.
Rolling, Joe.
Rolling?
Yeah.
Rolling? Okay, great.
Carolyn.
Okay. Well, good morning.
Good morning.
It is April 1st, and we're sitting inside of the Capital One Arena. I want to mention the noise below. So, Nicki Minaj concert tonight, it's sold out.
Sold out.
And I think that this kind of further proves your message. The Capital One Arena brings in great business.
It brings in great business, but the city and the region also embrace it. It embraces it right here in the heart of downtown Washington.
Let's talk about Monumental Sports. How are you feeling right now with the big win that you secured last week?
I feel great for the city. Listen, the city spoke up loud and clear that we want our teams. D.C. teams should be playing in D.C. and that we want to work very hard with a company that we've enjoyed a great relationship with. We put a great deal on the table. We stood behind it. In fact, we built even more infrastructure around it. And I think we got the outcome that everybody wants.
Ted Leonsis said that you could have stopped talking to him and he probably would have stopped talking to you. But he said you did the right thing as a business person. He said DC did everything right. What do you have to say about that?
Listen, I've been at this a long time. I know what our city needs and what makes sense for us. And I think everybody put on their big boy and big girl pants to work on what was best. So that's my job as mayor, to work with our businesses, to work with our council, to work with our stakeholders and get the job done.
I think that this is kind of speaks to your personality, just working with you in the last couple of months. He said he looked at you and said, "You'd probably be leaving," and you said, "No, you won't." Why were you so confident?
I just always believed we had the best deal. We had the most interesting project. Listen, they will be able to turn this into a great urban environment that will compete with every arena in the league, in both leagues. And so I always felt confident about that. I know how economic development deals work, especially ones involving public money. I saw the other deal as a very risky one, and ours is a very sure one.
I love that. Just two quick questions on this. Was there ever any consideration to offer less than $500 million when Virginia lawmakers gave that first blow, saying it's a dead end?
No, we think this is what the arena needs, and so it's really an investment in downtown D.C. We want to see. We don't want to see a half renovation. We want to see a world-class renovation that will put this arena on par with all of the arenas in the nation.
Chris Mendelson said last week during the press conference, money for renovations are coming from the capital budget, not the operating budget. Are there any projects that will be put on hold due to this agreement?
No, it was always very important to us that this investment didn't displace other investments. So everything that was planned is proceeding, and this very important investment is proceeding as well. What this interim period has demonstrated to us is how important it is to have this arena and the number of visitors coming here, 400,000 just this month, but also how people feel about the downtown, and knowing that you always want to have great businesses here. Ted mentioned that he's a $6 billion company, and he has been a great employer.
So now that the Caps and Wizards are locked in, I think a lot of people are now turning towards RFK Stadium, Commanders, and what the House did last month. What does this mean for trying to get Washington Commanders to D.C.?
Well, I'll just say this, because here we are in the great Capital One Arena. A little bit later today, we'll be at Nats Park, another great sports investment of the district for opening day of the Washington Nationals. We've always been focused on getting control of the land at RFK. It's 170 acres that's blighted right now. And the city has indicated that we will be willing to put our dollars into bringing that campus back to life. And we know the National Park Service just won't make it a priority. So that's why we want the Senate to vote expeditiously on giving us control of that land. And in 170 acres, you can do a lot. Housing, economic development and jobs, recreation for kids, connectivity to the Anacostia River, and you can have the NFL.
Absolutely. Do you think Ted? A lot of people think maybe he was bluffing. He was never really going to go to Virginia, but he was just trying to squeeze money out of D.C. And I think you've been hearing that he wanted money, and then you sort of gave this deal whenever he said he was going to Virginia. But were you going to give the deal before that?
Oh, we had several. We negotiated with them for many months and had several very competitive deals on the table. I think when we realized that they had a $1.5 billion offer, perhaps over 40 years, we weren't ever going to compete on that. We weren't never going to offer $1.5 billion. But sometimes a bird in the hand in 3 years, not 40 years. Is better. But more than that, and I take him at his word, and I don't believe it was a bluff, because I do believe he had an idea to build from the ground up. And our sell was, you can have that, just a little bit different. You're going to have an urban campus. And guess what? We've created a DC action plan that just lays the groundwork for the future of the downtown.
And what does that look like to you? What do you want to see? Like you were saying, instead of building up, you're going to build out. What do you want to see? What kind of renovations would you like to see Capital One? What have you guys talked about?
Oh, well, the biggest thing for the city is that the connection from the outside is better. So it's just not a box with four walls that kind of blocks off this arena from the businesses and restaurants and pedestrian experience, so that it's more open. The connectivity, we know that they'll work with the adjacent property owner to get space there, and we want to invest in that connectivity. So all of that's very important to us, and we want it to last for the next 25 years, so that this arena will be competitive with the arenas around the nation. There's a reason why they sell out shows here. It's a good fan experience, great transportation, and the more that they can make it a better fan experience, is better for us too.
In private conversations with Mr. Leonsis, how much, if any, did sort of the crime around Chinatown or the omnibus crime bill play into his decision to?
You know, I never believed, I wrote an op-ed in the Washington Post a few months back, and I never believed that their decision was about crime. If crime was a problem here, they wouldn't sell out shows. But what I do know is that we experienced a crime spike in the city overall last week, and we were very serious about driving it down. That's why this year over year, we're down 30% in all of the major crime categories, especially in the one that troubled us the most, around carjacking. So the interventions that we put in place last summer by emergency and that were made permanent with Secure DC is going to allow us to continue to drive crime down.
Is there any concern that Virginia might try to get into this picture and take the commanders? Or do you have any opinion about it?
I'm very focused on this, and just like here, I know that we have the best location. If the commanders are moving, there's really only one location that will excite people, and in my opinion, bring back their winning ways.
Is there anything else that you want to add? Anything that you would like to say to people watching that maybe I didn't ask?
No, I would say this, that it is almost in vogue to be down on cities, and I always tell people, never bet against cities. We are the heartbeat of every region. And one thing that I thought was interesting about this debate is even the people in Alexandria, they didn't want this move. And I think what I heard from them was, let Alexandria be Alexandria, and let DC be DC, and we can support each other. And we are always going to be the center of arts and culture and entertainment for this 4 million person region. And having a strong alliance among our region makes us competitive with other regions. So I've always believed that, and I look forward to working with everybody for a strong region. We're going to be great at the things that we're great at, and our neighbors are going to be great at the things that they're great at, and we'll grow together.
And comeback plan still on the table to invest in the Chinatown neighborhood.
Oh,
gallery
oh,
place?
for sure. We continue, and we have a gallery place task force that's going to continue its work now with Monumental Sports.
Thank you so
Thank
much.
you.
Thank you. All right, we're good.
Thank you.
Cool.
Thanks, guys.
Thank you. Have a
Appreciate
good
it.